Yep. I was hoping for that. All right, we took a week off for many reasons. Mostly just players being out or needing to be out. And we're back. Last session, although it was 2 weeks ago, the best I can remember, is that we wrapped up things on Shinobu. Decided, Tajamashiro handed down what he was asking the Raza to do instead of blowing up Henry Station, because you convinced him early during your stay that that was not in everyone's best interests. And he wants you to. You also informed him that you might have a way of disrupting access in and out of that star system where Union is building a massive fleet. And so that's what he asked you to do, is go do what you said to him that you could do. And he was putting a little bit of faith in you because you haven't proven that you can do that here at all.
We also haven't proven that such a shipyard exists yet.
No, you haven't.
Like, what's going, hey, so there's, like, I know you want to go to war. It's in our interests that you don't. By the way, here's a really good reason that you shouldn't, and a reason that we can deal with the reason that you shouldn't.
Yeah. And he's paying quite a fee for you to do the thing that you said that you could do based on faith.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it from his perspective. It's like, there's this shipyard you don't know about that you can barely get to, and we can make it so that nobody gets to it. Like, do we have, like, we barely have proof that it exists.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Now, he did install an overseer or a handler on your ship to make sure everything you said is correct.
So they will see when we go in. Yeah.
But he still did put quite a lot of faith in that. I mean, I guess it depends on whether you consider him shelling out 1 million credits as a planetary government, or having access to the funds of a planetary government is actually putting a lot of money where his faith is.
Come on, 1 million credits is like one free merchant. It's nothing.
It's two fully stripped down and stock.
Right, so one free merchant that's actually equipped to go anywhere.
Yes. Yeah. No, what he's paying is not terribly high compared
What he's paying is a really good deal compared to the amount of damage that the ships from Tiamat will do if they get out.
Yes. And so, I mean, that may have factored into his decision, or he might just be blindly trusting you. Either way, you've made it to the Nox, where you can take advantage of a basically governmental military contract that Shinobu has with the Nox to get guaranteed a berth at the shipyard. No delays in ship servicing, and his initial offer was 500,000 credits worth of ship repairs, but then he amended that based on another Roland request to be as much as you need to fix the drive.
Yep.
And that's where we left off. I don't believe you just arrived in Kuriti. You arrived from an unexpected origin system, so there's no beacon here greeting you. There's certainly no military presence or blockade here. You've just got this region all to yourself. I'm going to go ahead and bring us into frame now. Oh, before I do, did I skip or miss anything?
Not that I can remember, which is admittedly not saying much, but not that I can remember.
I can't remember exactly what we were planning to do first.
All right,
You
well,
wanted
we'll
to
talk
go
about
check
that.
out.
We're
You
getting
wanted
a
to go
ship
check out
base,
something that
right?
was on the way. You wanted to go check out something that was on the way.
Hmm.
All right, I'll bring this into frame. And
Something.
I can move you to the planning page. Oh, whoops! I brought us into the wrong frame. Here's the loading page. Make any adjustments you need, and then I'll move you over to the proper to your planning page.
Oh, someone else want to create the counter? Or is it me again?
Nope, I see a number there.
The 7 was already there.
Hey.
Oh, the
Nice.
7 was already there. Okay. All right, I'm
2
moving
to
you.
the 4
Yeah,
to the 6
yeah.
to the 7 to the 8. I don't know what that comes
Fantastic.
out as, but it's a really big number.
6, 7, 8. Who do we eliminate?
Or it's just saying that 246 is higher than 8.
Who?
I think it's 2 to the 4th to the 6th. To the 7th to the 8th.
It could be either of these things.
Yeah.
It could be either of these things.
All right. Player journal.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we assassinate?
So I know that
Everyone.
Lulu, you wanted to make sure that you get around to Onalo. You guys decided
Yeah.
to go to the Nox first because you want to
That was it.
have
That
your
was it, yeah.
info drive installed to start capturing locations.
Right, because I remember because I had to ask about the zombies. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think it might have been Onalao that you mentioned.
All right.
Zombies? What zombies? Mm-hmm.
Look, it was relevant because by this point in time in the last game, Nox not an option.
Yes, very well put.
There are no zombies in Basing State.
There are no zombies in Bossing Say, yes.
Yeah.
All right. And would you like me to put you in a ship screen or the player journal?
I say you go ahead up to the map tab and just roll a die to pick randomly which one we go on.
Between the ship screen and the player journal?
No, for the entire all maps you have in there.
Oh dear.
Oh, well, I've been very lazy, and don't have all maps in here. So,
Well, I guess let's keep on the player journal just because I'd like to refer to this for a little bit.
okay, yeah, that's why the only options were ship screen and player journal. I'm sorry. I can play you the music for Kuti Tahirti. Well, I can be more specific than that. I can play you the music for Durid. That's where your Anti, because that is what the Nox orbits. We are getting a little bit of a background noise there from Viral though, or
I'm sure
Viral.
Very big number.
All right.
Sorry, but that was a TV 2 rooms away.
No worries. Ginja appears to have done the math on what 2 to the 4 to the 6 to the 7 to the 8 is.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
When a number is big enough that you can take a log of it, and then take a log of that, and then take a log of that, and the answer is still in the millions.
Oh no!
It's a slightly big number.
Oh no!
Like, it's at the level where Wolfram Alpha won't actually give me a proper thing of how big it is. The base 10 representation that it gives is like 10 to the 10 to the 10 to the something.
Yeah. I think we can safely give I can give you a safe estimate of the answer. My estimate is a lot.
Right,
All
Pretty
right.
big.
So you're at the edge of space. In Kirti, there are 2 planets in this system, Thurud and Anti. Anti is not inhabited because it is irradiated. The majority of the population, like 99 to 95% of the population is on the Nox. There are people on Anti, still working in research labs and doing things, but not very many because it is very irradiated. And the Nox is their world project to try and build up enough of a fleet that they can actually move their entire population. The Nox shipyard itself is not capable of moving except for orbital adjustments, and it is certainly not capable of making any spike drills. So all of this is a 100-year plan, so to speak. It'll probably be more than 100 years to give their people a new planet to stay at, or comfortable ships to kind of just swarm around on. What's it called? Mass Effect? Pilgrimage Swarm?
The what's that?
I called it the Pilgrimage Swarm. I don't think that's right.
Oh no, the migrant fleet.
Migrant Fleet, yes.
Migrant fleet sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that is the eventual goal, the immediate goal, I should say, the immediate centuries-long goal, with the long goal being we claim this planet and we settle here. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my notes. I'll continue with the description just as a refresher. There are plenty of asteroids here. There are plenty of moons out here. There's regular stellar features that you would expect to see in a solar system, including all the fun solar flares, a sun. It has a sun. And other gas giants with their own moons floating around randomly. You're at the edge of this system's space with nobody in sight, though you know that being a cruiser that has just drilled in, that ripple through metaspace will be identified as a cruiser has come in, and none of our scouts have or blockades have reported any entry. But they have no way of finding where you came in.
I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Me when I lie. Now, in fairness, are we actually planning on causing any trouble here? Probably not, right? Exactly. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, sure. You guys never cause trouble.
Usually not unwarranted. Whether people know that it's warranted is another question, but usually not unwarranted. I'm sure it seemed like we were coming out random to the people in the fucking... Which station was it that we obliterated?
Before the game or during the game?
During the game. The one we got the zombies from.
Oh, Vela Station, I believe.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Of course, my notes about that situation didn't happen to include the actual name. It's higher up.
I feel like this has come up before.
My notes aren't always good. They expect me to remember a certain level of detail that I've proven time again. I no longer remember. Vela Station. Okay. There's a whole ass section titled Vela Station.
I feel bad for making you go this far up in your notes for just some random thought that went through my mind. I'm sure it's fine.
So, is there anything special you want to do on your approach to the Nox? Or are you just going to go there, flash your UIS credentials, and have people start coming aboard to do the work?
Can we think of a good reason why that wouldn't be okay?
Can you read that?
Can we think of a good reason why that wouldn't be okay?
The only thing that I'm going to offer as a clue here is, well, not clue, but as a consideration for you, is that to remind you that Thurid is the HQ of Mercure Corps. Thurid is technically run by Thurid government, but Mercure Corps owns 75% of everything that is there. They're just not the
So
government.
I have a quick question. We've been basically, all right. So Tajima Shiro has given us basically as much money as we need to complete the drive repairs, correct?
Correct.
Does that include money to pay off the local authorities so they shut the fuck up and don't look too far into things?
That's a good question.
It does not. It is specifically a credit that the Nox can draw on to fund the repairs. He hasn't given you the money. He's given you a slip of credit that tells the Nox that you're authorized to basically bill UIS.
Okay. I have another question. How much would this place pay for energy weapons then?
That is a good question. Let me pull up my trade. And we are in QD2 here.
Get here, sell a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
Excuse me, shipyard. Would you like some of our 5 billion guns?
Yep.
There it is, the Nox. The Nox has a +1 for mineral and +2 for post-tech. Do the guns have either of those tags?
Maybe the post-tech. I could say
They might be. See.
I don't know what the tags of the guns are.
Military post-tech.
Ooh.
Okay.
So yeah.
So then, yes, you may be able to offload some of those guns here.
That's definitely something we should look into then.
Yeah. Like even base price is pretty good.
Friction here is 4.
Okay. I mean, I think it's worth seeing what they'll pay.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's never not worth seeing what they'll pay, you know?
Because we got those for like 10% price, right?
Yes, we did.
Something?
Yeah.
Like base price on those is 2 mil. For what we've got. If we can get a good roll and get like, 150, 200%, we're gonna have so much money.
We are kind of in need of a payday for the maintenance stuff because we spent some money recently, right?
Yeah, we're gonna need. I don't know when I think we did maintenance not too long ago.
Yeah.
Or there was something about something counting as maintenance.
I think the next say this is going to count with maintenance, wasn't it?
Yes.
Part of it.
Yeah. I did say that this is going to reset your maintenance state.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, but we do want to fix the 2 guns as well, which isn't going to get covered by what UIS is giving us.
Yeah, nice as it would be if it was. It's not. So that's an interesting point, actually.
I believe it ends up that's about 1 mil between the 2.
It's about the same as am I hallucinating when I say that I remember it costing about the same to fix the 2 guns as it would to fix the drive?
I believe it is the same. Yeah, I think it's 20,000 parts either way.
Probably not hallucinating then.
Yeah. Let's see. Charge cannon 10,000 each. Spike drive 20,000. Yeah, it is literally exactly the same numbers.
Okay.
20,000 parts either way.
Okay.
Is 1 mil credit equivalent.
In that case, what do you all say to we don't supply any of our parts towards the towards fixing the drive, build that entirely on UIS, put our credits towards fixing the guns? Or not credits, our parts.
I can't tell if this is on my end, but I keep losing you.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I did turn the sensitivity down a little bit. I may turn it back up. Yeah, I'm done eating. But yeah, do you mean to say it again?
Yes, please.
Okay, basically, we don't put any, we don't offer any of our credits towards fixing the drive. We bill that entirely to UIS because they've given us a line of credit, and then we go, oh, by the way, we have a pile of parts that we can use to fix our guns. Just two different crews, like, why are we here?
Yeah,
I know why I'm here. Why are you here?
UIS has said they'll put up whatever's needed to fix the drive, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's
So-
I'm not sure I'll agree that this is needed if we could have funded some of it ourselves.
Yeah.
Only
Well, we
one
don't
comment
know.
I want to make in
Don't
there
know
real
what
quick
price we'll get.
is that the Nox will use their own parts. They prefer you pay credits in that.
Okay, that's actually
It
pretty
would
convenient
be
then.
credits. We don't actually have a huge amount of parts.
That's actually
So-
decently convenient then.
Yeah. I guess then the question is basically, are they going to raise any eyebrows at us saying, bill 1 mil of it to the UIS contract for the drive, and then we'll put in another mil for the guns?
Let's
That's
see
probably
how much
okay.
we get.
Let me also have somebody who is well-traveled or knowledgeable, so either int connect or int know. Roll, or you know what? Or int admin if anybody is nerdy enough to have done a little bit of research on their way to the Nox. Roll to answer that question about are they going to raise any eyebrows?
I have good connect, and I'm probably well traveled enough to get away with it.
Okay, let's go ahead and have Percy roll that then. Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
The Nox is not a pirate destination. The Nox is not somewhere that you go if you're dealing below the law, unless you're good at it.
Okay.
They need funds. They need lots and lots of money, and so
Okay.
if you can find the right wheels to grease, you can almost certainly get your ship weapons done here on your own dime. Of course, they're not going to mess around with the contract with the UIS at all. It's very profitable
Yeah,
for
of
them.
course not. Of course.
But yeah, no, you think that you can, if you can find the right people, say the right words, you can get them all done, and nobody the wiser.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
And we might have to pay a bit more, but we're looking at getting probably 2-3 mil off these guns anyway, so.
When you said 2 or 3 mil off these guns, I was like, isn't it 2 or 3 mil that we're putting into the guns? And then I remembered you meant different guns.
Yeah, no. We've got 2 mil worth of small arms, and we're going to need to put 1 mil into the guns, into the ship guns.
Yeah, I would ask, isn't this too many guns if it wasn't exactly the right amount of guns?
Yes, there's never such a thing as too many guns. We have 200 tons of small arms, and we still don't have enough.
when you have as many enemies as we do, you need more guns. It's just a fact of life.
Yes.
All right. So we come back to the question of, are you doing anything special on your approach, or do you just want me to start describing the station?
Are we doing anything special on our approach? What do we think? Can anyone think of any reason why we should do something special?
I don't think I've got anything.
Me neither.
We haven't been told to do something special, right?
Just back to casual, y'all.
Yeah. No, just fly in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, the only thing that you've been told is just to make sure that you let them know you're here on the UIS contract, because they'll send you to a different berth.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I believe at Kana's speed, it only takes, what is it, 8 or 9 hours, or like 9.2 hours or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's 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 a little bit more than a normal day's working shift. To arrive at wait, what? Hang on. Oh, I'm being dumb. You drilled into Maribia because you were jumping from Maribia. Okay. My date is a little bit behind, so Nox, if you'll help remind me, what are all the factors that go into your drive speed? I know that we're at effectively a drive 4, and jumped 4. Okay.
We have 2 things that cut the time in half.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's it, right? Trimming is cutting the time in half, and then Starfarer.
Trimming only makes your drive function as 1 higher.
That's right. You cut the time in half, and then also Starfarer cuts the time in half, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the that's divided.
I think so. I could be wrong.
No, because I think it was 0.8 days per hex.
Did I trim this course? I don't think I did.
Ah, okay. .6 days per hex. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Because just a single hex at equivalent drive 5, which is what a trimmed course would be, is 1.2. You bring it down to 0.6. You're not trimming the course, so it's divided by 4 instead, and then divided by 2. That's 3/4 of a day per hex times 4. So 3 days. That's, there we go. 29. For those keeping track, we're now on July 29th. It took 3 days to drill.
Did you take into account the cutting in half?
Just one cut in half, right? I'm not sure where the second one comes in.
That's what the trim course comes in. Right?
Trimming the course only increases your drive by an effective 1.
Yeah.
I write these things.
Yeah, so Starfarer cuts it in half, and
Yeah.
I can't remember if your focus does also. I don't think your unique gift did.
I don't think it does either.
Okay. Yeah, and 0.6 per hex when you're trimming the course is the number that I remember.
Okay.
And that's just 1 halving. So, 3 days to go 4 hexes. You're still at less than 1 day a hex.
It's not good.
You know, we should totally have RP scene at some point with the Red Dragon. Just like, I'm assuming This is unusually fast. And by unusually fast, I mean, I'm assuming he's never gone this fast.
Yeah. I mean, normal sector stuff would be drive 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we're going about 4 times that speed. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, we're here. Shouldn't this have taken a week? We're here.
There will certainly be plenty of time for that aboard the Nox. Since you're quickly approaching, you can decide whether you're wanting to trim the course on your way to the Nox. It will not look suspicious at all, because trimming the course in space really is just finding a better route than the standard route. A little bit unconventional. Anybody that's tracking the ship, if anybody was, would note that you're vying for speed and taking some small risks in your deviation, but it's absolutely not uncommon at all.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we are coming way faster than any other ship would, so if they mistake us for a missile, we might have trouble.
That is a thing that could happen, isn't it?
Yes.
Whoever is at the bridge, piloting towards Nox, does get a message or warning from Nox traffic control that you are approaching too fast and asking you to slow down. There's a lot of air travel around the Nox, and the Nox is a very exposed beast of a space shipyard.
I mean, once we're out of metaspace, speed drops considerably.
What was that?
I said, I mean, once we're out of metaspace, speed drops considerably.
Right.
If they're sending us messages while we're traveling through metaspace, they have some.
No. This is your in system. You've already arrived in Kuditihirti, and you're flying towards the shipyard now. And it's when you're about an hour and a half to 2 hours out at your speed, they basically ask you to drop to equivalent drive 2, and it adds another hour to your time. That's all.
Basically, they're asking us to go at nerd speeds instead of, normal speeds.
They're asking us to obey a speed limit.
Yes.
Gestures at the nerd clip that I posted in the channel previously.
The Nox is as previously described. It is a massive, sprawling shipyard. It does look a little bit like a splayed out octopus, with the arms being very long and fairly narrow for the size of the structure. Shipyard extensions. From some reading into what you're about what you're expecting here, that those extensions, narrow as they are, also house people. There is practically nothing within this shipyard, that is not housing some people, workers, or the children and elderly that aren't able to work yet, but are either going to soon or have worked until they can't anymore. They're cramped with sometimes 5 or 6 living in a bedroom-sized space as their entire living space. And the only place that there's any real spacious luxury is for the residence of people who are having their ships work done. And that space is limited and controlled. You can't just stay there forever. And from the information that you've been able to look up, even the administrators and the people that are in charge of this operation ostensibly and at the highest levels of whatever government they have here, they don't have much more space than the common people either. There seems to be a sense of shared misery. The workers and the shipyard workers are living cramped, and so I'm gonna live almost as cramped among the elite. They do get a little bit more space, though. They need it for their offices.
Of course, yeah. Offices, that very important, vital part of the function. A big office.
Yeah, well, not a big office, but some office space.
Hmm.
At least according to what you've read here.
Hmm.
Or accumulated or acquired in some way.
Hmm.
As you were informed, once you let them know that you're here for business under the UIS contract, and they can check it out and it registers, you do. Well, actually, no. Your ship would have broadcast it. So the authorization came just hours earlier than you did. Because it got transmitted from your ship.
Yep.
And they direct you to a more secured berth, more central on one of the arms, and as you are letting their nav control, or you know what, actually, no, the Nox is not a place that will even allow anyone to approach on their own piloting. They require you to allow them take control. So I should bring that up. Is that going to be a problem with your guys?
Nox. Not the shipyard, the person.
Yeah, does Nox allow the Nox to take control?
I mean, it's still Anox in control.
Yeah, it just
Open
this
fire.
whole game is naming confusion, and somehow it's all Nox.
Nox of the Nox.
Yeah, something you want to tell us, Nox?
Yokin Meowkin.
Yeah.
Kana Kawana. I don't know. Actually, how does Nox run into these things? Because there's also Charlie the vehicle too. It's just. If anything, I just think it's malicious intent by Dexter.
I would have to be a fairly powerful precog with at least 3 months of time horizon.
That's not no. That is noticeably not you saying no.
Yeah.
We can't rule that out, now can we?
So how does Kana react or respond to the Nox insisting that they be allowed to dock your ship?
And I've got no problems with it.
Yeah, this isn't
Good.
actually, I suppose it wouldn't be terribly uncommon for Kana, because that is also something that Shinobi usually does when people are allowed to dock with one of their stations. And it's not that you give up all control. You're just allowing them to send the inputs and the flight path and tell your ship what to do. But you could still veer away or hit the gas, fire weapons. You could still do all that stuff. They'll just know as soon as you are, or as soon as they lose control, and will of course be on the defensive.
But we're not planning on causing trouble anyway, so it's fine, right?
Yeah. Nox has already said that Kana's fine with it. The Nox does have some weaponry, not nearly as much as you would think to defend this kind of place. If it were not in a major system with a major player that does patrol for piracy, they would probably need more weapons. The docking procedure is smooth and efficient, and you are met at the airlock with representatives, clearly business class representatives. They look like they have worked at least a day in their life, but not very many. And I'm gonna move you over to the player screen so I can start making some boxes.
Okay.
If anybody's typing or did anything on the journal, please let me know.
Stop it.
Boom.
Wait, no, I was typing. This is a joke.
Too late.
You made your bed, now lie in it.
All right. We're gonna put the Nox in the big box there. Move Libra out. It's the big box because, well, for reasons you will soon see. Who is greeting the party visiting your airlock right now?
I mean, the security's job.
I was gonna say I feel like we should have at least a couple of security there.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I'm going to put Percy there, and let's say Julia for a change. We always bring Libra to this kind of thing. It's Julia instead.
All right. This is even more so within Julia's wheelhouse, as kind of a more diplomatic type thing.
I mean, the last event was stiflingly diplomatic, but I see what you mean.
All right. Percy and Viral meet the
Oh, it's just me?
I think it's just you.
Okay.
But I could be with you.
It's very likely that this is that they're gonna want to get straight to business and start asking about the ship stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That works out quite nicely.
definitely be there. Oh, I have the wrong tool selected.
The administrator that or I'm gonna just call him business person. The business administrator. I immediately change it. The business yeah, the business administrator that comes to visit your airlock. They introduce themselves, identify themselves. At the moment, their name is not important. If it becomes later, then I will, of course, find a name for them. But this is just kind of to give to you what they plan on doing with you, with your crew, and with the ship.
Okay.
So they have accommodations for up to 30 people if you need them. They do ask that you be sparse with that and try to do as little of that as possible, but they also tell you that you'll need to limit the amount of crew presently working on your ship while they're working. There is a point made that they would normally require a certain a reduction in security staff, or they would normally have a limit of security staff, but because you're here on the UIS contract, They just ask your security to stay out of the way.
Well, that's nice.
They are on a very tight schedule, even if you are not, is a point that he makes. And it's kind of this weird balancing act of the more people you can get off the ship, the better, but also not getting everyone off the ship and just kind of I'm stammering over this because it's more like they want your people that are staying on the ship to live in their bunkers for the next week, in the barracks for the next week with only galley access. They offer these nicer rooms on the station. They are available to you. They're available to up to 30 crew, which you have less of than that. So you could get your entire crew over there if you wanted to, but they don't want you to. Their actual preference is that your crew stay on the ship and live in the barracks and the galley and not take advantage of the limited space that they have available for visiting merchants and, customers, basically. So it's a very odd balancing act.
We are technically visiting merchants since we have the gun sale.
That's true. But they would still rather we not use up their space because there could be other visiting merchants.
Exactly. That's basically the ask is, this space, all of this is available to you, but please don't use it. So that they can make the same pitch to somebody else. And, that somebody else might be less accommodating.
Yeah, and so they're hoping that we will be accommodating. When you put it that way, it almost doesn't sound daft. Almost.
So, with that, your crew don't want to be cooped up in the barracks and the galley for a week. That's not taken into consideration the extra time that you may be here for the weapon. So, over the course of this session, you don't have to do it all right now because that's a lot of people to think about. I will need you to decide how much of your crew you're letting use the Nox accommodations. Also, how much of your security you want to leave on the ship while it's here at the Nox.
Can we just rotate them out?
You can. And what are you going to do about Prue and Rule and the brig?
That's a fantastic question. That is a fantastic question, actually.
They do not need to access the brig, I assume, correct?
They don't by any metric you can think of, no.
Okay, then we just forbid them from accessing the brig, I'd say.
Okay.
And then cross that road if it does become an issue.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Alright. Since you're planning to rotate, instead of putting actual pogs or tokens in the Nox box, why don't you decide at some point what your rotation is going to look like, even in the vaguest terms, and just type that into the Nox box.
Okay.
And I will change it to the Nox accommodations because there will be a new Nox box.
A Nox box. Got you every time.
Alright. Shadow would like to slip off and get onto the Nox, so I'm gonna put her as in the Nox box, not Nox accommodations box.
Okay, does she clarify what she wants to slip off for, or does she just want to nose about?
She wants to nose about.
Okay, I'm not particularly against that.
Well, how do you know it's Shadow? There's just some random crew person that you've never met that's saying that they want to go on the Nox.
That's how I can tell it's Shadow.
Yeah, because every time it's a person we don't recognize, it's Shadow.
What do you think? Do you think we hired her yesterday?
Sometimes
Hey,
it
wait a
feels
second, I don't know you. Oh, Shadow.
Hey there, you. How the hell did you get on that? Oh, hi, Shadow. Hey, I think we like what you've done with your hair today. What, polymorphed it? Yes.
Let's choose a random. Let's see. She looks like that today.
Mhm.
All right. Anybody that is intending to interact with the trade of those energy weapons will also need to be in the Nox box.
I think that means I need to be there.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
I'll go
though-
with, I guess.
There'll probably be some circumstance in this trading sequence where my expert knowledge on the part will become useful.
Probably.
All right. All right. With the business style discussion concluded, of course we can revisit it if there's anything that you think should have been brought up or that you forgot. Excuse me. Nice. Arrangements are made for the Nox technicians to repair your Drive 6. There are some additional questions about that, and some inquiries that make it seem like this would probably have incurred more fees and more costs, but that's all being handled by the contract and the authorizations that are given it.
I mean, just think of the experience that they'll get from it.
Exactly.
Oh God! Why would you say that?
In a mechanical sense, they're not actually charging more. It's just that this is way more expensive than any repairs that they would normally do, and that's part of the justification. Is because it's Drive 6. But they are suitably impressed that they are working on a Drive 6 pre-tech Drive 6 and assure you that they have the expertise. They have a guy who is learned enough in pre-tech technology that he can oversee the repairs and make sure that utmost care is taken with your delicate equipment.
Fantastic. I'm just saying that this is the place that is synonymous with shipyards. If there's anywhere that we'd expect to be able to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Can you repeat if there's anywhere that you would expect what?
To be able to get it fixed.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
like, if there's anyone that has a guy, I expect the guy to be here.
Yes. Yeah. The Nox has the best shipbuilding and repair expertise in this sector.
Mm-hmm.
They are the reason that there are so many Drive 2s in this sector, in fact.
That's impressive.
There's a small little scene where your security that will be staying aboard are introduced. And let's see. You know what? Somebody roll me a proficient skill check for Julia. Let's she hasn't been useful lately, so let's see if she can be useful.
Be nice.
Wow.
Come on, Julia, you show him.
Okay. Julia pulls out some code and statute references of Nox shipyard government, and basically says that the security aboard the ship that are staying aboard the ship, according to the UIS contract, shall not be restricted to barracks. Will have their own rooms and run of the ship, even outside of regular security shifts. She does this in a diplomatic way, not telling them what you're gonna do, but raising the issues in a polite and civil manner, and
reminding them what the laws are, basically.
Yeah, basically letting them know that she knows what their laws are.
I was gonna say, yeah, Doug was gonna cause a bit of a fuss probably eventually.
Do you want her to include Doug in that security group?
Yeah, absolutely. He's technical security.
Yeah.
With a 10, she can include Doug in that, and so Doug is also not being asked to. He's put on a list among your other security of people who are not to be challenged should they be seen outside of regular duties.
Well, you put it that way, it just sounds shady as fuck.
Well, I did think it was
like,
a little odd, but that was, I was gonna bring it up later.
We're going to be up to stuff. If you see us doing suspicious stuff, look the other way, like legally.
It definitely does sound dubious. Their rationale and justification for it is they want everyone the fuck out of the way so that they can just do the job and be done with it as quickly as possible. And so they've developed.
Doug gets that.
Yeah, they've developed this set of rules by which they expect any ship coming here to abide, with the exchanged trust that they're just going to do the work and nothing shady. It works out for the most part. But over many decades, they have developed additional rules, which laws, which Julia is citing here, laws which were mostly designed to appease people who didn't want to do what they said. Pardon me. And so with that, we've got a couple people going on the Nox to trade. The sections of the Nox that you're escorted onto and then set free are cramped. We're talking slightly larger than submarine style passageways and rooms. In theory, this should be how all military ships are designed, but I find that to be less interesting in my sci-fi, so that's why they're not.
Seems fair.
But the Nox is a special case where that is the flavor and aesthetic of it is cramped. You are in a can with a bunch of other sardines trying to do their jobs. And that's even in the more spacious guest accommodations. Since you were given a berth near the central hub, you didn't have to travel very far. But at the very end of each arm, travel is either in a vac suit along a exposed walkway, or by shuttle. Around the middle of each arm, there are tubes. There's enclosed and pressurized tubes that go out to about the middle of each arm, which is what you were able to travel through. And being so near the hub, that travel wasn't very long. If somebody was out near the middle of the arm, we're looking at a fair walk. through non-gravity, pressurized but no gravity. And then inside the central hub, you've got some gravity. It is less than you're used to.
Still, I appreciate having gravity in my guest accommodations.
Yeah.
How much less? Like half or more or what?
So I'm going with the standard kind of sci-fi of I think it's 0.6 or 0.7 is what you typically have on your ship. That's what you need to be able to function as a human for long periods of time. Here it's between 0.2 and 0.3 depending on how far away you are from the drive plate. There is gravity along these arms where people live, but the tubes that you travel through when you're docked, when you're at a berth, is too far away from it. You might be experiencing like maybe 5 or 10% of regular Earth gravity.
Okay.
So I guess there's some gravity, but
Better than not.
Anyone with heal, feel free to make me a heal check with intelligence.
Heal with int, eh?
Oh.
Wow.
Well, that is certainly good. That is, I'd set the difficulty high at 10, and you beat that by a measure. So, what Das can conclude from the gravity at just a 10 is that this is not long-term sustainable. The human body is not meant for this, and they either are going to be having severe problems, which the people you've talked to so far don't seem to be having severe problems. They look different from normal gravity people that you see, but so do people living on snow planets. What you get with a 12 is some certainty that they probably use or need medicine to be able to safely live in this low gravity environment.
Gravity pills.
Fortunately, Mercure Core is very good at medicine.
Okay, so
I think it'd be easier to just spin the station harder, though. Oh well.
Okay,
it's
so
probably a cost thing. It's probably cheaper to do the medicines than it is to run the things at higher gravity.
Engines, yeah.
Oh, it's more profitable for Mercury Core at least.
Well, it is. Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'd assume it's more profitable for the Nox as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Depends on the station structure, really.
I think there would also be structural issues with running higher gravity at the on the arms, because they're not very firm. They're not very solid.
Yeah.
They're too big for how little material they seem to be made of. And of course, they are pressurized inside the arm, so there's. This place is a walking death, floating death trap.
It's all held together by spit and duct tape, huh?
It is.
It sounds like.
I guess we never really got to truly experience it, did we?
No, you didn't.
Oh no, how terrible. We don't get to experience the death trap.
Well, now, I think Lulu was out for some of this, but Darkstar War Cycle 2 did actually travel through the Nox on the ground of Anti.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was also Darkstar Universe little one shot too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Interesting. Fair enough.
Do you guys want a roleplay scene here to break up all the talking that I've been doing, or do you want to jump straight to figuring out how much money you get off of your trade?
Like Doug's commenting on, wow, it's impressive that this thing hasn't fallen apart yet.
You could actually. I think Doug could probably be the person that has beef with this kind of design the most. Or no, you know. Here's the thought. She's probably the one most familiar with being inside this kind of thing. Does Das have beef with how shoddily this place is constructed?
Probably. Yeah.
I'll save him quiet for a while. Poke poke.
that is
Dad
probably
magic.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Julia, who's still hanging around Doug just to make sure that he doesn't get any problems being, not armed or armored like security. She agrees and admits confesses that that's one of the reasons why she made a point to argue for the security staff here not being forced to choose between the barracks or a slightly more comfortable experience inside the Nox. She thinks that thing she's been afraid of the Nox anytime ships have come here for repairs. She is not a fan of the place.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, it's fine. We'll be in and out. Is there anything that still needs to be repaired after the drive and the guns?
I don't
I believe that's everything.
think so. I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Drive. Yep.
That'll be the end of it, yeah. Raza fully repaired by the end of this session.
I do love that Deck's set up the Raza has like a bunch of things wrong so that it can just be slowly piecemeal ground away at over time. 60 sessions later, we've just made a contract to get the last 2 million of it done.
I mean, I would call that a plan gone successful in my book.
Maybe.
I don't know if 60 sessions was my target, but certainly, as you described it over the course of the campaign, was my goal.
Yeah.
All right,
it's a way to give us a super ship without starting with a super ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially the Raza's been leveling up along with us.
Yeah. All right, let's see how much disgusting amounts of money you can possibly earn from those guns.
This is gonna be funny. This is gonna be funny.
Very good.
Let's roll all ones.
Roll anything but all ones.
So, the relevant addition for the Nox is fix. So you've got trade and fix, and the better of your int or charisma. And I'm sorry to do this, kid Doug.
Doug's got.
But the Doug will have to be going on to the Nox if he wants his fix included in that trade. Not like full time, but off
I mean,
and on.
I could do a little bit. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can only do
Can you
so
go
much
full?
damage in such a short amount of time, right?
Two members looking into the ship.
Yeah.
On the ship, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Look, these people live here and they're still alive for now.
I'm guessing Doug's got 4 fix.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at this roll. This is going to be an interesting one. There was a bonus here for post tech, I think. Did you
There
say?
is a +2 for post tech, and then -4 for friction.
-4 for friction. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Okay. No, that's not too bad. We're at a net +3.
Okay. That's pretty good for a friction of 4.
Yeah, the net +3 is the part that's scaring me. No, it's not the -4, it's the net plus.
Oh gosh. who was talking about 3 ones?
Me.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Oh. Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
Well, I mean, that's still average price. You know, which for 3 1s on a friction 4, average price is not too bad.
But we can do so much better.
Might be a good idea to
we can do so much
plan it.
better.
And I'm gonna put a little bit of an emotional component to this.
Oh god, he's traumatized us.
That's all they can pay. They have so much tied up in trying to get their fleet running and keep the Nox functional, do what repairs they can, put off what they can't, or put off what they can, and they're willing to buy the entire lot of energy arms because that'll serve their weaponry needs for the foreseeable future. There will actually be a modifier for the Nox that they will not buy any more energy weapons. They will not buy any more weapons, period. They will not need them.
You can't expect real trade stuff.
But that's still that base price is still the most that they can liquidate and manage to serve up in credit form for you. You can still take it somewhere else if you want.
Dex, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the emotional component, I was like, how bad could it be? And then you said that, and now I feel bad, and I actually want to not sell the weapons here, but sell maybe some of the weapons here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think if we want the guns fixed, we're going to need to sell some of them to get the money for that.
That's true.
But at base price, it's 2 mil. We need 1 mil for the guns. So maybe we sell half of it.
I wasn't even thinking that much, but...
Here's my other question. So you can only fix stuff at a certain rate, correct? How long is it going to take to get the hull fixed?
It's supposed to be 25,000 a day. Doubled for a shipyard, and then shipyards can have additional multipliers. I was putting this level of service at the Nox at 200,000 credits worth of work a day.
200,000. So 5 days would take to get the drive fixed. How long does it take? What's that?
5 for the drive and another 5 for the guns.
Yeah.
Okay. How long do you need to wait to get the additional trade roll?
A week.
I think.
Yeah, but see, now we'll feel guilty if we
Yeah.
I won't. I'd say let's wait another 2 days and see.
How that would basically play out is them trying to scrounge together more funds, take loans from somewhere, take advance payments from people to try and offer more.
Yeah. I'd say waiting the extra 2 days to try to do an extra reroll in this case is probably worthwhile.
And to your question, Lulu, no, you cannot use expert reroll on this.
Yeah.
To the surprise of absolutely nobody.
Yeah, it's not a skill check.
It's just 2 extra days of waiting. Given how fast we go, that's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but just the guilt trip.
You're the Raza. Experience guilt.
This is Dex trying to guilt trip us out of like a few million credits.
Yeah. When you put it that way, yeah.
Yeah. Blame the GM.
Real. None of these people exist.
No, they won't exist for much longer, even in universe.
Yeah.
Squeeze blood from this stone.
I can't believe you're letting people guilt trip you over buying weapons.
Don't let me stop y'all. Don't let me stop y'all. That's my cross to bear.
Okay, so remind me, what are the trade modifiers again? Like this was, we rolled all ones, so it was modified to how much?
This is effectively at a +7.
Okay. No, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
we rolled.
sorry, I misread the modifiers. Yeah, +7
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Right, but like, this was when we rolled all ones. How much would this many weapons be worth if we rolled like average? Is the question.
If you rolled average, you'd get a 14, and a 14 would be a +40% markup.
Would we?
No, average would be
on
Oh,
3.5.
3d6. My bad.
Yeah, average on 3d6 is 10.5.
Yes,
So,
and that is
17,
plus
18
100%.
somewhere. Yeah.
Plus 100%. Yeah, so it's like what?
Literally double.
So if we roll
Yeah.
average, this cargo's worth 4 mil,
Yeah.
and that's here with the friction that it's got.
Yeah, and we could go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
It's just
think.
the thing of if we do that, we probably then don't. Presumably, if we do that, go elsewhere or wait. Like if we wait and sell it to them for more, we know what that is.
Yeah.
But presumably, if we go elsewhere to sell it and come back, we're not going to necessarily be able to get the berth quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Like if we're not here to have work done on the UIS contract, we
Yeah,
might be
And
waiting.
it's 2 extra days. It is, given
Yeah.
how fast we move, it is not really a burden on us.
Yeah, I think it's not unreasonable to say, basically, we sympathise, but you're scamming us with that price. We're going to take your time to get some more funds.
Yeah.
I think it's not unfair.
We sympathize, but you're not buying like food and medicine. You're buying firearms. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting that, actually, yeah. Like, we sympathise with your need, but it's a need for tools of murder.
I will remind you that they're not seeing the 3 ones. They're seeing that this is base price they're offering.
Yeah. Yeah, and we, who have traded in many different parts of the sector, know that we could, like, we know that this is the equivalent of rolling base ones.
Fair enough.
Like, we have enough experience to know better.
At least that we know we can get a better price.
You know you can get a better price, for sure, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll let them see if they can scrounge together some more cash. If they, like, basically, how bad do they want it?
Yeah.
How bad do they want weapons, you know?
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, basically, what's the effective? We sympathise, but you don't need guns so badly that we'll sell them at that price. We are going to be here for a while, so yeah.
All right. Well, they, you're talking to basically business office here. It's not like you're going around trying to find merchants here, unlike other planets. They are of course doing that. They're doing that administrative legwork to see what funds they can free up, and what contributions they can get from internal. And then that's the government offer that they come back with. And so the business agent that you've been dealing with, he says that he will see what else they can try and come up with, and thanks you for giving them more time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll ultimately, if they can make us a better offer, then we'll be putting the money back into the economy. So it's I know interesting to mention that actually. Actually, Percy said it.
Now, I don't normally want to entertain. Can we roll a skill check to get a better deal on trade stuff? Just because it's already got all the mechanics in there, but we've created kind of a scene and a setting. So I'll put this option to you. If you wanted to try and negotiate for a higher price that perhaps includes some future credit on a Nox, we could certainly look into that. We'll still wait out the week and let you roll and potentially factor that into whatever outrageous price you end up getting.
Actually, I have a question, Dex.
Menacing.
It always is.
Yeah, it should be. Because you know what I'm going to bring up? I'm going to bring up eclectic knowledge.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'd like to. I since I'm going to have to leave here in 30 minutes anyway. I'd actually like to apply my eclectic knowledge to this situation. What do I know about the Noxus situation that is actionable for this?
Okay. Let me. You want to post that in chat again, just so I can read it real quick?
Yeah. Let me. Sorry, I'm doing weird shit with my computer, so I'm going to go ahead and post that once I can find it on my sheet.
All right, that might have been TMI, but we're good with that.
it's just my laptop's kind of a piece of junk, so I'm trying to get it.
Yeah, TMI. That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
We don't need to know about your laptop junk.
Okay. Trivial Pursuit comes to you for answers. I've always been proud of that line.
That is a pretty good line.
It's level 2 is the relevant bit here. Once per day, if it's not entirely impossible, you know something that could shift the dynamics of a situation or provide additional avenues to resolve a problem. The knowledge should be actionable, even if directly. A single skill check you or an ally make during the same day while acting on this knowledge can be rolled as if the relevant skill is level 2. So it doesn't really provide a bonus, though it might still be relevant in this situation.
Right, because your guys' skills are all higher than that. I believe. Yeah, I believe. But the information could potentially still be useful. And so I will tell you that Virgilia, through whatever channels you want her to know this, has utmost confidence that the Nox isn't just interested in buying these energy weapons for self-defense. That certainly is a part of it, and it really will arm them for the foreseeable future. But what they don't put into their future fleet armory, they're going to break down into chips and parts. And how is this actionable? It's a good question.
It's not.
Well, I guess I'll ask you. What's that?
I got it. It's actionable because the components that they can get from these weapons are really helpful for everything that the Nox does. From the various drilling lasers, mining lasers, and stuff that they use on a ship, to repairing parts of ships. They may get 75% value from each gun on taking it apart, as opposed to having to buy things at worse rates. So you know
Okay.
that they're going to get more value out of these weapons by taking them apart than most normal people would.
Okay. So
Okay.
here's what I would like to do with that information. I'm going to see if I can maybe, like with some of these people doing the negotiations, I might want to, while they're doing while Das is doing the main negotiations, I might want to talk with some people who seem more involved in the more shipbuilding and like shipbuilding, computational technology side of things, and start like just sort of talking to them and like offhandedly dropping lines about the like the complexity of these energy weapons and the sort of a computer the sort of like the chip tech that goes into them, maybe dropping lines about that would suggest, hey, these are potentially very valuable to what we're doing here. Even if we're not going to use those weapons directly, we can definitely break those down and apply them to our own stuff. And if they're really looking to offload these things, maybe we can get them a lot easier than we could if we actively tried importing these chips. And maybe I can provide a bonus to our negotiations that way.
Okay. So I would ask for a charisma fix skill check. Obviously, you could roll that as if you have fix 2. You could also have somebody else roll fix if you think they would roll better.
Charisma fix 2 I'm pretty good at. The only other person I think would be we do have someone with yeah, so it'd be the same either way. And I do have diplomat here, which can fly,
Okay.
so
Sure.
give me a second. I have fixed -1 normally, so I'm just going to add a +3 bonus to this.
No problem.
That's pretty funny.
Eclectic memory. I'm appreciating you using the rewrite so I can see how it works, and because I like it.
Yeah.
3.
For reference, guys, the earlier version of this was bad. It involved space magic and void voodoo.
Yeah.
Void it, if you will.
12.
All right. So, what I will offer here is, I'll let you re-roll the trade check, with a slight deficiency in it, in that it would be 3D or 46, drop the highest. You still have a very good chance of getting way above the 3 ones, and keep in mind that you only need to roll a 13 on the dice to get double base price. So, sorry, not double base price, triple base price. There is
Sorry.
What's the threshold for triple?
19 or higher, so 12 on the dice. My bad.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess asking really quick, what did my roll do then?
Your roll is getting this for you right now. You don't even have to wait the 5 days. It's letting you try and take the reroll right now, right away.
Instantly try, basically.
It would not preclude you from trying again later. This is in addition to waiting a week and seeing what you get.
I see.
Okay.
It also gets you the information that no matter how well you roll on the sales chart, they're only going to have so much liquid funds, and anything else above that, they would ask to pay you in Nox credit. So credit for services.
If we can immediately apply the credit to repairing the weapons, that's not too big of a deal.
With a certain amount of wailing and gnashing of teeth, we'll accept. Don't tell them the part where we'll immediately use it on our weapons.
You as players also know that you plan on coming back here in the future.
Yeah.
This would apply to any ship in your fleet in the next campaign, as opposed to just the Raza.
Okay, that might
that's,
be useful.
that's spicy, actually. I do like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and see that roll then.
All
Go
right.
for it.
Okay.
Genji, you know how the text?
Yeah. 46 drop 1, right? 46 drop
I
highest.
think it's a
DH1, I know. I'm just checking that that's the roll. you're
DH1, I
intending.
believe. Yeah.
Like, you could also just,
Yeah.
keep highest 3. Or
Yeah.
no, keep lowest 3.
Yeah. KL3, but yeah,
Let's see it.
It might work either way.
same modifiers otherwise, just 12
Correct.
dice drop highest, yeah. Okay. Let's see what we get.
Yeah.
That's
4, 5, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll take that, definitely.
I do love that each like they went. I'm sorry, we can only spare this much, and you go. So here's how you do your jobs. And I'm like, actually, now you mention it.
So what multiplier did you say? Did you say triple base?
Yeah, it's plus 200%.
Okay.
So triple base.
So we came with a bunch of guns, and they're like, "Oh, we can maybe pay you 2 mil," and we're like, "Can you though?" And they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll pay you 6 mil."
What Virgilia has effectively done is gone around. I don't want to say behind the administrator's back, but that's kind of how this was effective. Is got word to other people in positions of power, but not in the position of decision chain or positions of the knowledge chain. Because, the administrators that you're talking to, they should be knowledgeable, but not to the level of, not to the extent of the engineers that Virgilio was talking to. And you reach high enough status people who can push the right buttons and say, hey, wait, this is a much better deal than you realize.
Well, see, it's either that or you go you have a vendor that just goes straight to the boss, like bypassing people that'll be using the software or whatever.
That also works.
And you just have all you have to do is convince the president or whatever that that's a good deal, and they'll just make the people that are saying that it's not a good deal pay for it anyways.
Wait, hang on. I recognize this rhetoric. It's like one of those anecdotes that starts off sounding like an actual story and winds up with someone asking you for about $350.
All right. So how many units of this did you have?
Of the small arms energy, 200 tons.
I'm sorry. How much?
200 tons.
200 tons.
At
That's
10K
right.
base. Yeah.
I mean, that might just change the course of what happened last cycle.
That might have an impact. Yeah.
There's any number of butterflies that could have flapped their wings and changed the course of what happened last cycle.
That's true.
So that's 6 million that they can give you 2 million in cash for. They're willing to extend the additional 4 million as credit for this service and future services.
Okay, so we can use that extra one of those millions for the gun repair right now.
Yep.
We'll have 3 million extra credits for later while having 2 million in the bank for this.
Yep. So basically, next campaign we get a ship, we come here, and we go, what could we do with 3 million credits? And that's how we wind up with another Raza caliber ship.
And anyway, anyways, it's like, oh yeah, the Nox just got crashed again. I mean, you saw that thing; it was going to collapse at any moment.
Then we come here very early next campaign.
Let's just keep an ear out for any Nox shipyard related news. We might need to react to that quicker rather than later.
It's fine. If the Nox shipyard collapses, we can sue the survivors for that 3 million credits they owe us.
Or we can just go back to our roots and rob them.
I will admit the investment that this gives your characters to the Nox was a consideration in letting your reroll, because I'm like, well, now I can just say something's happening there and they'll be there lickety split.
Yeah.
You get the the drive fixed here and the infra drive installed, and hey, the Nox is your first registered location.
Yeah, Dex just hands us what looks like a big pile of cash, and secretly we are trading that big pile of cash for a button that he can press to make us drop everything and come here.
Yes.
We have given him a
we
lever.
think we're getting money. We're actually getting money and a hook.
Yeah.
I mean, if he pulls the lever and we wait to come here, we could just come and take the guns back instead. It's fine.
Surely it's fine.
Oh, it's fine.
All right.
So are we getting the guns fixed here too then, right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a side effect, a side benefit of this, nobody is asking any questions about the guns. You're not going to have to make any rolls to grease any palms or keep people quiet.
Nice.
So there was an additional benefit to making this trade.
He's trying to he's trying to distract us from the fucking lever that he got on us. Don't let him fool you, gang. Don't let him fool you. He's still up to stuff. He's not even up to anything at this particular moment, but he will be up. He will be up to stuff, and that's the problem.
While we're here, since we have such an abundance of credits, could we see about getting that drive plus one fitting?
Ooh, yes.
Well, when you put it that way.
Yeah, we should definitely do that, because that makes us even more ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what are we on at the moment? We're on like, if we trim the course and everything, we're on like 0.6 days per hex.
Well, with this will be
the drive upgrades and that fitting, it'd be like a third of a day.
Yeah. Well, right now, with the thing fixed, we'll be driving with an effective drive 8. I want us to drive at an effective drive 9.
Yes, it's just all the ridiculous. Yeah, like it's at the level where, like the default drive is running 3 hexes per 3 days per hex.
And we're doing 3 hexes per day.
We'd be running 3 hexes per day.
How much is the +1 drive fitting? Just so I can note that down.
10% of the hull, and 1 component per hull class. So Doug can work with their engineers to bring that down to just 2 components. And I know that you've got a variety of components. In fact, I'm looking at all of them.
And what's the hull cost?
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I don't think I ever actually decided on that. But I know how much your maintenance cost is.
What is this thing? It gives +1.
It's a drill velocity upgrade on page 109.
Right. And are we ignoring the up to a maximum of drive 6 that it says?
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah. I guess we are.
Let's just ignore it.
That's unfortunate.
Do you want to actually ignore that, Dex, or?
No, I think I just never got to that line. I was so excited about the first lines.
The zoomies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You bought into the zoomie mythos.
I did.
Well, I guess we'll skip that part then. But that's fine. Drive 8's plenty good.
Yeah, sorry, no.
But it's not as fast as possible is the thing.
Well,
no, it is.
Oh, it is as fast as possible. That's the thing.
All we need to do is figure out whatever's actually causing the time breaking stuff,
The bottleneck.
and then incorporate that into our drives.
Oh God. Yeah, we are right before we leave.
Yeah. Just put ourselves in a time loop and arrive 9,000 years before we set off. We're fine. Yeah. Like, days per hex? What do you mean?
Well, you do have the Eternal Reactor, so theoretically, you should be able to planet hop for a while 8,000 years ago.
Here's what we do. Even if we fail this mission, what we need to do is we need to land the Raza in Audrima, and then we take off right after the time skip. And then we just...
And then we die of old age before anything interesting happens.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so I guess I don't need to figure out the price of that mod, because it does say up to a max of drive 6.
Yeah.
Dang, that's embarrassing. And that's even in the same sentence. It's embarrassing for me and Nox.
But mostly you.
Mostly for you. You're the GM.
Mostly me, because I didn't say anything already. Yeah. In fact,
to be fair, I only asked you about it. I never read it myself.
all right, so that's all entirely on me.
Your responsibility expertly dodged. Good job, Nox.
All right,
Neo in the Matrix.
You've got to leave soon, Lulu. So let's make sure that the cash on hand you were given is noted. I'd also like to make sure that you guys note that you've got 3 million more. We're just gonna keep it on these even numbers. 3 million more in Nox credit that you can use.
Bucks.
Your Nox bucks. Yeah.
I did want to ask before I drop off. How exactly is this group dividing credits, if at all, or is that just going into ship funds?
That's actually where I was going to. So yeah.
Generally, payouts are like half gets split between the active crew, like the player character crew, and the other half goes into ship funds, and we use that to pay the rest of the crew.
Okay.
Not nearly as complex as you and Xander had created.
we had the whole contract thing.
What? What did you do?
Lulu can explain it later. It worked,
yeah.
And it fit the group makeup.
No.
I would say it actually even kind of made the power dynamics very even because of all the players involved. It was practically its own adventure, yes.
You know those old pirate code, where they divide up, okay, this person gets X number of shares, this person gets Y shares.
Like the kind of thing we have, except we just haven't written out the exact numbers. Yeah, that kind of thing. But
yeah, except we had different numbers of shares that were very specific for everyone.
Yeah, and partial shares.
I am curious. Tell me later.
Okay.
You don't need partial shares. You can do everything with whole numbers.
Well, they did partials.
Well, okay, but you don't need them.
You're right, but they didn't do that.
Yeah. If you end up that someone has half a share, just double all the numbers and everyone's integers again.
Yeah, but integers are overrated.
So let's get that split up, or that payout split up, so that Lulu can mark it down before he leaves.
Right. So there's 5 players though, and we're paying half of the actual credit amount is going to the players. So that's 1 million to split 5 ways. That's just 200,000 for each of us.
Yep.
And
easy enough.
Another million.
Yep.
That's million in the
that checks out.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm guessing Meowkin will get the ship sheet with the 1 mil and the. Probably put the Nox credits on there as well at the same time.
Viral.
Yes.
You know what you did.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was Percy.
It's on record. This is being recorded.
Yes, it's on record, but Percy said it. Yes. What's the problem?
I guess make sure to note the Nox credits down somewhere too.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Knock the puck. That's what I'm going to call them, unless anyone changes it.
I'm
Nox bucks is good.
Nox bucks is good.
we appear to be in favor of Knoxbox.
All right.
I mean, we haven't asked Nox about Knoxbox, but otherwise.
You are Nox. Nox. Kana is getting 200,000 credits.
Yeah.
Everyone, make sure to mark down
And the ship has 3 million Nox bucks.
Your windfall.
Nox,
And Lulu, is there anything?
Nox, are you okay with? Nox, are you okay with your likeness being put on money? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Lulu, is there anything you'd like to do, or any scene you'd like to have before you have to leave?
Not on the Nox. I think most of the important stuff I'm planning for is gonna wait till we hit unallow. So
okay.
I'm gonna head out.
All right.
And say hi to my grandfather.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to put us on a break. Go ahead and everyone except for Lulu, because you're not welcome back. Come back at 1:15.
Oh dear.
Just like that.
Come back when? Sorry, Dex?
1:15. Or whatever
Okay, see
that
y'all then.
translates to you.
Yeah.
Let me bring us back into frame here. I see everybody is either unmuted or I've heard your voice. Everybody's got their new spending money recorded. That'll buy a lot of cyberware or other things that you can think of. And if you wanted to get cyberware installed, why, there's Thurid right there.
Yeah, that is, as I recall, kind of middle of the road for getting cyber, isn't it? Or is that the cheap and cheerful option? I forget.
It's the all over the road option.
Okay.
Lamiera has so much regulation on safety and cleanliness, and people dying is messy. So Lamiera is always a good option for cyberware. The best option is always going to be Trin if you can find somewhere where they're actually set up to do the work.
Yeah.
But Thurid ranges from a hacksaw in a back alley to hey, this doctor is from your cure and he certainly knows what he's doing.
Sorry, which of those is meant to be the bad option again? Sorry.
Yes.
Not filling me with confidence here, Dex. I must be honest.
It's unlikely that you'll get a good cyberneticist that doesn't have some kind of connection with Mercure, either directly as somebody that was taught, that went to academy funded by Mercure, did their internship, and is either currently an employee or formerly an employee, or somebody who is a fully, completely private and independent subsidiary of Mercure Corps. So if you're trying to avoid Mercure Corps, it's a terrible place to get cyberware. If you're not trying to avoid Mercure Corps, it's actually pretty good, pretty fine.
If you're not trying to avoid Mercure Corps, they're going to harvest your organs. And if you're lucky, they won't. If you're lucky, they won't replace them with anything.
I'll just go ahead and take my chances with the spectral mishap table instead. Thanks.
That gives me an idea for how I could determine what kind of cyberware service you get.
No, bad Dex. No.
Cyberware installation mishap table.
Cyberware mishaps, nice. Yeah.
On a 1, the character just implodes.
Yeah.
No. Implosion and immediate
on a
death
1 they
is
harvest all of your organs.
a better circumstance than the 1.
Yeah, on a 1, they harvest all of your organs and keep what's left on life support.
I was thinking of 1 is more like trail.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 is trail.
Yeah, okay.
You're describing True, one is trail.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
You're all one. Everything is fine. It's not.
All right. Not that any talk of Mercure Core is relevant here. So what are you guys all doing on the Nox?
Hmm.
Hoping it doesn't explode.
That sounds threatening.
Yeah. Are you leaving the accommodations area? Are you wanting to kind of like see what life is all about? You're not restricted from going into the residential / work areas of the arms. You're encouraged to stay in the hub where you've got a little bit more space and it's less crowded. But if you want to get a sense of Nox culture, you certainly could. So, is anybody venturing outside the hub? We'll start with that.
I think Percy is going to stick to, let's say, security shifts. Like, security is more or less what I do most of the time, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like Percy is primarily sticking to the ship, but is also going back and forth to the hub to make sure that everything's okay with everybody who is out off the ship.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much. I also just keep my ear to the ground if anyone's like... I think that'll probably be how we handle, like, if anybody decides they've had enough of the, like, the being confined to the ship, or the going back and forth, or you get the idea.
Okay.
Luckily, we just had shore leave, so.
Yeah, but, you know. It's not unfeasible, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't I just go through each of you, find out what you're doing during this time period. Who would like to go next? All right, Doug.
I mean, I feel like Doug's getting in the way of, well, quote unquote, getting in the way of repairs. He's definitely trying to work.
He's definitely trying to get in the way. Got it.
Yes.
Good to know.
But he is good at what he does, so hopefully that's not actually in the way.
Why don't you make me a charisma fix check?
Sure. My sheet is.
And Viral, go ahead and give me a wisdom notice check.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Wow. Double 13s. That's not an unlucky number, right?
I don't know how I feel about level 13s.
All right, Doug, if you would like, or Meowkin, if you would like, Doug can have gained enough rapport with the head technicians here. The working bodies, they're not really very talkative or interested in anything other than doing their work. They really are little mini Dougs in the making. But those that are overseeing all the work that they're doing are a little bit more willing to engage, especially once they realize that you're a presence, that Doug's a presence there that's not going to go away, and they've been kind of given instructions, just leave it alone, let him. So if you want, Doug can have built up a bit of rapport with them in sharing his knowledge, his substantially greater knowledge, maybe helping them out with some things that they were having some difficulty figuring out about the specifics, and be generally seen in a positive light to where some of them are actually going to him for questions.
Yes.
Any modifications you want to make to that, or you like it as written?
No. Nope, that sounds good to me.
All right.
All Doug ever wanted was a bunch of hard workers to work with him.
All right. Well, he's got some good notes in on the Nox's logs. Speaking of Nox, what is Kana doing?
Myokin is going to spend a good portion of time kind of flitting between the different dealings between the Raza and the Nox, and otherwise spending the time doing little get-togethers with Orion, Kami, etc. Kawana.
Okay.
Have we seen you two get together with Kawana yet?
Have you seen it? No, it's been happening off screen. Mostly during the time that Kawana was helping with the sickness.
My point is, I wonder if it's time to have one of them on screen. I'm curious to know what that dynamic's like.
All right. Are there any in particular of those that you'd like to focus on?
Not really.
All right. You said Kami, Kawana, and who else? Were of interest to you?
Orion.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. And was Kana staying on the Nox? It was Kana staying on the Raza.
Yeah.
Okay. I've kind of confused
She
things.
has her own room. She's going between there and the galley is fine.
Okay. I've kind of confused things with the two boxes I've got with the Nox accommodations and the Nox because I forgot that I made the Nox box smaller because of how cramped it is. But I think it still works. Let's take Doug out of the Nox accommodations box because he's clearly not.
That's your tell.
He's visited a couple times.
Eva in particular is taking advantage of it. Eva Maria. Kawana is certainly going over there, and Vicky. What I'm doing right now is dragging over people who will potentially have interesting reactions to all of this. Really is staying on the ship. So where is... I don't really need a barracks box, do I? Why does my screen keep flashing? Huh.
I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
Seemed to be happening when I would move somebody after a little while. And it's my second screen that's streaming, not Alright, I'll keep an eye on it. Okay. So Orion is an interesting development. Let me make sure I'm not setting this up in a way that you wouldn't want. He kind of, if Kana hasn't invited him for tea in this period, then kind of invites himself.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
If Kana has not invited Orion for tea during this little period here, he is one of the security people that is being given run of the Raza while he's here.
She did. I mentioned him by name.
Okay. So those were all people that she is inviting to tea. I think that's the part that I missed there. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. He does come. He's dressed in clean, non-security clothes, although still sharp, professional, and maybe, well, he's from Lamiera, so still very clean. And He brings a rose tea.
Right up to the last word, I was really curious about where this was going.
I don't think rose tea has any specific connotations. It's just kind of a normal tea, right?
I think so.
Yeah. As far as I know,
like, I am probably one of the people here who knows the least about tea, despite being one of the Brits, but I think so.
I believe it's just a tea that is made that either has some hint of rose flavor or actually has stewed in rose petals. I'm not entirely sure. So there's nothing specific I can think of, but he seems to have placed some significance on this in the manner in which he's bringing it. I'd like to go ahead and give me a wisdom notice check for Kana. Don't worry, Viral. I haven't forgotten about your check.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. I had.
Okay, so it is nice tea.
Tea is good.
Anything in particular that Kana does or wants to get up to with Orion? Or is this just kind of a social visit?
I mean, yeah, it's generally a social visit.
Okay.
Talking about the plant stuff. Getting on with the Raza crew regulars, things like that.
Okay. Yeah, he is comfortable engaging and indicates that he's feeling a little bit less like part of a mercenary team as you guys hired him, and more like a security team for the Raza. He's feeling more integrated with the ship as a whole. And he believes that is shared by Nyx and the Kevins. Comments, of course, that Kevins just follow what Nyx tells them how they're supposed to act. But it still feels right. Tea with Kami is similarly uneventful unless you're Kana make it eventful. Kami is just happy to be sharing tea with some of the traditions and trappings of her culture. She is relaxed, but not inappropriately so. And she actually kind of likes the more ceremonial presentation of any tea ceremony that Kana does.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you for another roll here. Be a wisdom or charisma perform.
Perform is a skill that I have.
As one of the skills of all time.
Okay.
One of the best skills.
You're biased. What happened to Vex? Are you cheating on Vex?
Tommy is even a little bit lighthearted. There's a small smile as elements of the tea ceremony are performed precisely and with grace. He's very pleased to be here.
My God, a small smile. She's practically jovial.
And I guess, yeah, you're gonna let it slip that at one point she wanted to put in a kind of false screen on one of the walls to kind of look more like home, but it just never worked out.
Well, she asks why it didn't work out.
Because I'd have to sneak people in to install such a screen.
She says that she is friends with Maximus and asks if you want her to put in a word.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Unauthorized modifications. She that kind of feels like a point where the tea ceremony should conclude to her, and so having conducted business at the end, or some semblance of business at the end, as appropriate, she bows and takes her leave. Koana is a wreck, but we're gonna get to her after I ask Ginja what Das is doing.
I don't know. She'd definitely have ended up on the Nox for the trading. So she's definitely been over there and seen the kind of level of duct tape and hope that is holding that thing together.
That is a bit the extent of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think she would want to be on the Raza most of the time. Depending on how torn apart the bits of the ship that are being worked on are, she might just be in the vents and in a little space a lot of the time.
Okay.
Like if those areas are still sort of intact and not being ripped apart, she'll be in there.
Okay. Yeah, for the most part, they are. She can certainly put herself in parts of the ship that have nothing to do with the drive, and the Nox workers here are being professional. They're doing the work that needs to be done. There's a little bit of crossover with the workers that are focusing on the weapons, but yeah, there's definitely places that she can fit herself into a vent and just kind of listen to the silent rumblings of the ship.
Yeah, should be doing that then, basically all the time.
All right. So back to Kana real quick. Koana is just she feels so bad for these people and how they live. She's gone outside the hub, and
oh dear,
it's to her it's such a vibrant and lively community. It reminds her a little bit of home because it's just outside the hub, on the arms. Those are the living habitations as well as the shipyard. She describes that there's a long lane in between in the center of very long, what are essentially massive warehouse-sized shipping containers that extend out for miles in sections, bulkheaded sections, so that if one does get depressurized, only those people will die. But there's so many people in each one. They're packed so tightly. There was a city in some country that has the highest population density. I looked it up the first time I ran the Nox, and I've forgotten which city it was. But look up highest population density, and then look at what those living accommodations are. I think there have also been references to Kowloon, the walled city. And take those images, put them in space age 10 roofs and walls, and then put a about 10 to 15 feet wide lane going down the middle of it, which is exclusively reserved, no buildings, exclusively reserved for foot traffic and merchant stalls. And with kind of central areas or central park areas, so to speak, that are basically just a town square or town circle, a segment circle, where people perform. They dance with their people, and they sing the songs of their people. And she is just desperately put out by the plight of these people and how close it is to her home, while being so much more miserable, and also they're all gonna die.
Yeah,
she
sounds
really
like
likes
Lana.
them.
I guess it's sad when you put it that way.
You guess? Just like, oh yeah, I suppose it's sad, but Christ's sake, man.
And if Kana lets her kind of ramble along, she starts getting to a point of wondering how the end will actually be. Will it be a painful tearing of atoms from flesh, or will it just be blip, no more?
Oh god, we really have made an annihilate offer, haven't we?
She hopes it is the latter.
That one we can probably check.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. I'm not entirely convinced that's a good idea. I mean, I'm not going to stop you, but reconsider.
Reconsider. Yeah, how does Kana want to handle this Koana situation?
Hyoken is going to let her run out her steam, spin her wheels.
Okay. Quick question. Is Myoken giving her decaf tea, caffeinated tea, or sedative tea?
Uh-oh. That's an important question, isn't it?
And by sedative, I mean calming.
Actually, okay.
Definitely going to steer more towards the calming teas.
Okay.
Makes sense in character, but
Yeah.
However, going to offset that with sweets and baked things.
Okay. I see you just want to find a way to not even have to roll anything on this one. You found the I win button. I'll allow it.
And then you say she found the button as if the button wasn't thrust in her face as soon as we met Koana.
Well, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I will allow the I win button to be pressed in this situation.
Very magnanimous of you, almighty GM.
I have a long history on the Stars Without Number Discord of kind of railing against I win buttons, and how a lot of GMs allow psychic powers to be I win buttons.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you. I'm barely on the Discord, and I think I remember seeing you talk about it.
You might have, yeah. But it absolutely is. It applies here and is not a detrimental thing. Yeah, Kana hits it out of the park with this, letting Koana just kind of work through her tensions. They've been building up. She's been holding it together on the ship and putting on a brave face, but this has allowed her to put to voice all the things that she is thinking and worried about and feeling. Right now, Kana is Kawana's grandpa.
Aww.
The combination of the sweets and the calming tea are both calming her and making her feel at home. And also giving her a little bit of a stomachache because, you know, it's still, it's not quite home, but she's going to ignore that. She's used to that now.
Yeah, so just like being at home.
Sort of, yeah.
Sometimes eating is the answer. But yeah, no. What is it? Prue, Rule, and the ship AI. I forget her name.
Beth.
Beth, uh-huh.
Beth would probably actually just have an answer for that whole it's just a blip thing.
Yeah, might want to find out what the answer is before you
tell Koana. Yeah, like
tell Koana,
like,
you know.
Don't have Koana be there when you find out the answer.
Miyoko will make a note of it.
All right, back to your notice check there. So, first of all, I will say that Percy and most of the crew that most of the PC crew that have reasons to be suspicious noticed that the Mercure Core people are on the Nox. That's no notice check was necessary for that.
Yeah, it's not what would traditionally be considered a surprise.
Yeah, no, it really isn't, because, I mean, they are engaged in legitimate business with the Nox. They have their own ships coming here. They've got medical supplies that they bring. They do what seems to be genuine humanitarian work in helping to feed the Nox, and, I mean, there's not much room for farms on the Nox. They are fairly reliant on Mercure Core, or specifically on Thurid and other traders coming in. What that 13 does get you is an increase in Mercure Core activity, a spike increase in Mercure Core activity after Percy registered a DAS visit to the Nox. She didn't go out into the arms. She was in the central hub doing her trading things.
Right.
Shit.
Yes.
We don't know any better.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Percy will warn us at his earliest convenience, and by that I mean next time he sees her, if he sees her soon, or send her a message.
Okay. Based on Ginja's description, I don't think he sees her soon. So does he send her a message?
Okay. Yeah. Like if he doesn't see her by the next morning.
You probably will then. She's not like hiding in the vents or anything. It's basically where normally she would be all around the ship doing stuff. She's a bit more. She's around for meals and things. It's not like she's hiding.
She's chilling in the vents.
Exactly.
She even has a TV up there. She could Netflix and chill up there.
Yeah.
I realize Netflix and chill has other connotations.
Yeah, nobody. I was gonna say nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Percy encounters her in the galley before he's had reason to send a message over to her.
Yeah. Yeah, in that case, Percy will simply, call, get her attention. Hey, be careful. There's too many Mercury people here. There's been since you started going around, there's been an uptick. Let me come with you. I don't trust that. I do not trust that.
If I need to go out again, I will.
Okay. Well, you need to. Have you made enough contacts that you can conduct your trading business, remotely, or?
I don't know. Depends when this is.
This is about a few days in, and you'll still need to do some in-person trading.
Okay. Well, yeah, then I would make it clear that I will be sending messages to Percy to schedule that and have him along.
Fun, bloody fantastic. Well, I guess we're working with this.
And all right. Whoever,
wherever, space will sink the Game Dollar sword.
What's that?
Portable sword.
Okay.
Yeah. The sword that brings backup.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. That one. Yeah. Okay.
That one.
Yeah.
So who has it?
Yeah.
I think Hannah's probably got it at the moment, but.
Right. Who's kind of gonna give that to?
I would be inclined to say you give it to Das.
Yeah, either Percy or Das.
Sorry, it's not my thing. You should pick.
Do you guys want to assume that there's a little bit more of a bridge meeting about the perceived risk? Or was this just a discussion between Percy and Das?
We could have more of a. Nah, everyone's kind of doing their thing. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay. Well then, last we heard, it was with Percy, so I would say that Percy still has it. If that's okay or not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Percy will actually make a point of giving it to Das because, I can't be there every single bit of the time. It's a knife.
It's a Tonto.
Okay. Yeah. Right, okay, so, yeah.
About knife-sized.
I would also expect to send an SOS Myokin's way if you need a quick pickup.
Did Das get the Ghost Talker transceiver?
No, Das hasn't got any.
Okay.
Cyber.
Percy
yet, anyway.
did, right?
No, actually.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, the last we had the Percy and the Ghost Talker transceiver was me cursing my decision to not get one.
Oh yeah, because any call for help will have to be, somehow activating the communicator, which isn't going to be an issue, but then communicating in a way that others may be able to understand, even if it's a safe word.
Give me 1 second.
Pizza. Yeah. See, we've already got a safe word. We're good.
We do. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Also, if Das, the sword, starts moving quickly away, Myokin can just port to it.
Does spatial synchrony Mandela give you range and distance? Or sorry.
Always knows the exact location and can teleport to within 3 meters of it.
Okay.
Nice.
Very cool.
That is pretty cool.
I could have also just been printed on a person. That would have been significantly easier.
It would have, yeah.
Yeah, but on a person, you then have to you then only got that person, whereas with an object you can hand it off between people without having to mess around with.
There's pros and cons. If Myokin is running on the fact that like Das is specifically at risk here, then probably switch it to deporting to Das.
Mm-hmm.
That would just solve a lot of the thing, because then Myokin has a tracker on Das, and if Das starts moving away from the Nox at a rapid pace, they know what's up.
Yeah.
They could just toss the sword out of an airlock.
That's true. That's true.
That's also true.
Yeah.
So, this is your Uber service telling you that if you want luggage to have the tag on it, luggage is going to have the tag on it, with all the good and bad that comes with that.
And to make it to set it up as a clear reference, the Nox is in effectively a geosynchronous orbit with Anti. So once Kana has been to a place on the Nox, she can teleport to it again. It is effectively stationary with respect to its gravitational body.
Okay.
Just stationary then.
What's that?
Just stationary then, rather than synchronous.
Thought geosynchronous was when you're always above the same point.
No, that's geostationary. Geostationary is always above the same point. Geostationary is always above the same north-south line, but it wiggles up and down.
All right, for our purposes, it's good enough. So geostationary, and we'll ignore the wiggle.
Geostationary is the one that stays still. So.
Okay.
Stay stationary.
Or anti-stationary, I guess, because I don't know.
Geo good enough.
Geo
Nice
good
one.
enough.
Nice one.
Yep.
Geo something.
Yep. All credit to Nox. All right. Well, at some point within these first 5 days, as you're finishing up the arrangements and the contracts and all that for the cargo for the trade, Das does need to go aboard and get does need to go onto the Nox and complete some business in the hub. I assume that Percy is messaged and is coming along. Is anybody else?
Does Das feel like she would like to have anyone else along as like extra protection? Or is the knife of Ubar and Percy good enough?
That's probably enough for Das, but Das would not object if you feel like you want to bring more.
Das, do you want to hold on to the concealed demo charge?
We could. Or
I don't think I can carry enough to be carrying all these things.
I could bring that along. Or, given that you and Das are from the same ship and not getting to see each other much and friends and etc., you could contrive a reason to come and visit us while she's, on the station.
I will say that some of Doug's expertise in the disassembly of weapons could come in handy.
We'll fancy that.
Sure.
Ain't it funny how this kind of thing works out?
I'm gonna put.
Also, the sword can be stoned. It doesn't need to be active.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem that Das has. I don't think she has that much carry capacity.
Okay.
Yeah, between readied and stowed, I can carry a total of 10 encumbrance.
No, don't believe me.
I
I
carry
understand
very
you.
much.
I can carry less than you. I have 9.
Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah.
No, you have more.
No,
You have
I was
more.
just looking at Stowed. No, you're right.
Yeah. No, just Stowed, I can do 7. Yeah. I have -1 strength. Like, this is... Yeah.
Speaking
Alright.
of, let me go ahead and... Yeah,
You
other account, though. I don't have it.
you head onto the station and go. You're making some stops with a couple of different people. As there's multiple moving parts in their functional. It is a functional government that they've got here. It's just not a very old one, so it has a whole lot of growing to do. You know, like young governments do. And so there's a few stops that you have to make in completing this and making sure that nobody pulls out at the last minute or decides that it's just too much and that they can't commit to that much future service. And along the way, having it brought to your awareness, you of course you see the Mercure Corps staff more readily. They kind of stand out already. They are typically dressed very nice, and like doctors and lawyers that are and politicians that are presenting a good face for their government/company. Nothing in particular stands out on your way through all of these. But, and I neglected to I neglected to mention that your berth under the UIS contract also comes with an actual security checkpoint between the tube and your ship. It's very small, like a little security office with space to pass by. But it is there.
It still exists, and that's nice.
Yeah. You are of course expected to man it yourself, but you've got people that can do that even if they're not your security staff. Your crew are more than capable of just kind of sitting there too.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna say that it's Asta on this one, who sends a message to bridge crew that an unauthorized person has just tried to claim entry to the Raza.
Now, who would that be?
I wonder who that could be. Does she have any kind of details whatsoever on who it was?
She says that it is excuse me, that it is someone who claims to be Raza crew and looks familiar to her, but she can't place the name. One moment, please. All right. Doesn't remember us ever having a Benoit Carrel.
Benoit Carrel.
And she does have a small suspicion, because it's a French name, and the official language of Mercure Corps is French, or Parisian.
Benoit Corel.
That is an
I don't recognize the name.
However,
I feel like I should recognize it.
Milton's going to,
I
guess, intercept?
that's... I'm thinking Bishop. That's Spectre Star there.
What do you mean intercept Nox?
I guess if they're like around the area, just kind of check them out, especially on a psychic level.
Okay. Kana's not with the Nox crew. That wouldn't make sense because Kana would be teleporting to them if they need her. Right?
Yeah.
Or was Kana actually
on the ship?
Okay, I thought so. Okay. Yeah, Kana can go check them out. And they look similar to Axel, actually. They're also psychic. And you know that Axel is not.
And we don't have someone marked under that name.
That we don't.
So.
Hold on. No, but the name. I was gonna say, like, do they look familiar? Do they look like someone because they're a biomorph? That's this guy's trying to pretend to be a crew member based on appearance.
That was a suspicion I had.
Yeah, but then it's like, how'd they get the name that wrong then? Not very good at their job, are they?
Well, he's very apologetic. He says, "I don't know why I'm not registered. I'm a crew. I assure you."
I know why you aren't, because you're not one of us.
They're just relying on the fact that it's a big ship and they expect us to have like hundreds of crew members.
Maybe.
He continues to insist. I am, and I need this job. Don't cut me out here. I don't know what gripe you have with me, but let me get back to work.
Are they doing any psychic thing right now?
They're not.
They're not.
And I do want to clarify because somebody brought it up. Metamorph is not my understanding of them. Someone correct me if you understand differently. Is that something like Metamorph just affects you and then is not detectable?
Not an ongoing power.
Yeah.
You don't need to maintain.
The question is Dex making a point of saying this just so we think that it is a metamorph when it's actually something else?
Well, you guys brought up the metamorph. I'm coming from that.
Yeah.
Basically, if it was disguised to look at someone, we would not be detecting that power, or Kana would not be detecting that power being used.
Correct.
Because it's already been used. So we can't rule it out just because Kana doesn't detect it.
I think either way, there are few enough psychics on this thing that Kana would know them all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We got few enough crew that it's not that hard to know the whole crew.
Metamorph does require the effort to stay committed while it's in effect.
It does, but the Metasynix is fairly specific about detecting power activations.
Right. Okay.
It could just be somebody who's using good old-fashioned plastic surgery to try and infiltrate.
It could.
But
like, let's not forget the low tech options.
Yeah. So level 0, visually and audibly detect the use of psychic powers. And I don't treat ongoing things as that. You can detect when they're used. And then level 2 is detect if a person is psychic or has latent psychic powers. And that's what Kana is detecting, is that this person is psychic.
Yeah.
And I do that partly for the players also, because if every metamorph player
the people that you can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if every player who metamorphed was instantly detected by NPC Metascience, that would kind of feel bad.
Yeah.
This also happens to be
So it's
quite
basically
helpful
if
in
you...
creating confusion
I
here.
think either way.
Yeah, go ahead, Nox.
Knowing that, knowing which of our crew members are psionic, and knowing that this isn't one of them, is enough for Nyoka to turn them away.
Yeah.
He stands back and crosses his arms and
bad at his
says,
job.
"I'm not leaving."
I was about to say, there is a certain temptation to just... Okay, like, we know this is some kind of trap. So let's find out what form the trap takes.
Yeah, it's like I detect a trap. What's next? Spring the trap.
Yeah, exactly. You learn a lot about how people set traps by, having a trap be sprung.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think springing the trap is going to be messaging whoever happens to be closest. If Percy is not busy, messaging Percy. If Percy is busy, messaging Orion. Or both of those are probably not Libra. Libra isn't safe here.
Yeah, Percy is on dash duty.
Cool, messaging Orion.
Okay. Well, Orion comes in short order with both Kevins. And is looking for any kind of unspoken cue from Kana, unless she sent a message telling him how she wants him to handle this. Sorry, let me put this together better. Does Kana include any suggestion on how to handle this in her message?
Just turning him away, getting him, to back off. He's already said that he's not going to leave, so
okay.
Whatever needs to be done to make him leave.
Okay. All right. Then yeah, he comes down with both Kevins, and has a conversation with the men. Look, man, you're not registered on this ship. If you've got any paperwork, show it now. Otherwise, this is a security checkpoint, and you have to leave. Someone go ahead and give me a roll for Orion. He is proficient at this. This is his job.
I'll do it since I'm around.
Nice.
Gil. Yes. Also yes.
Oof.
I cannot roll today.
You cannot.
Oh dear.
Right, where was Orion?
Better than the first trade roll.
That much is true, however, still not fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Well, this Benoit Carrel is still putting up a verbal opposition here. He's refusing to budge. He has pressed himself against the wall, the outer wall of the security checkpoint. You know, the one that would go out into the tube. Well, next to the door that goes out into the tube. And is shaking his head. No, I work on this ship. I'm not going anywhere. You have to at least let me in to get my things. And Orion was given instruction to take care of the situation, to get him out of here one way or the other. So Orion and the Kevins bodily remove him. I don't think there's even a need to roll. We've got 2 androids and a strong man whose job is security. Is they're not having difficulty with removing this person. The only reason I would even call for a roll if this were a PC is just to see if there's any damage done or how rough it is. But for Orion, it's pretty rough actually. There's something that is kind of stoking a little bit more ire in him, and when he gets the leverage and the positioning, and the guy's hand off the wall, he gives him a big shove and sends him flying into the far wall of the tube. I say far, but it's very close. Very narrow tube.
The other wall that's not far but quite near.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one.
That one.
Yeah, exactly. See you guys.
And he stares at the guy as he's getting up and closes the security door. Sets it to lock.
There's something unsettling about this.
Yeah, I don't know
I
what's
wanted to
going
ask
on.
somewhere in
but
the middle
something.
of that. He said he needs to grab his stuff. I want to ask him what his bunk is, because I can grab his alleged stuff.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, I think there was room for that question in that scuffle. Well, before the scuffle actually became before that became a scuffle.
I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
I can guess what he's going to say, but I'll let it. Yeah.
He cannot remember the exact number. He knows how to get to it, but doesn't remember the number.
Okay, describe that then.
Yeah.
We're trying to work with you.
He does sound apologetic when he says, "I'm sorry, I don't remember the number."
Yeah, sure. Sure thing, buddy.
That is basically
Axel,
right.
is Axel on this ship currently?
Axel is currently on the ship.
You know, that's just an avenue right there to mess with him.
What, to mess with Axel, or?
Mess with this guy if he's trying to look like Axel. He looks, he resembles, you know.
Yeah.
That's a point. That is a point.
He does look similar to Axel, and Axel has gone onto the Nox. He's not been on this Nox the entire time. I didn't put him in the Nox accommodations.
That's a face that they could have seen.
Yeah, he is a face that could have been seen. He
How
went on the Nox,
interesting.
saw all the crowdedness, and decided that is not for him, and he came back on the ship.
How interesting.
I just really feel like this guy's not good at his job.
He's trying his best. Fortunately for us, his best isn't very good.
So how are things going over there with Das, Percy, and Doug?
Hopefully well, you tell me.
Yeah. I mean, the trade is we've already done all the rolls there, and so this is just going through the motions that the rolls have, the avenue that the rolls have given you.
Yeah.
And there's
Here's a question. How are the people treating Das?
they actually are giving her a fair amount of respect. They seem to be deferring to Doug, because Doug does present himself as just being more confident in his knowledge, in my estimation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ginja.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, like if it's programming stuff, it's the other way around. But anything outside of like computer bits, yeah, probably.
Yeah. If it's programming stuff, then you're in charge. However, this is guns.
Yeah.
Well, I may not be good at shooting them. I can certainly make them.
Don't we know it on both counts?
But when it comes to the logistics of the trade and the parts where Das has expertise, there's respect given to her. And I think this may open up some further awareness. You see young people working all over the Nox. There are young people working at administrative roles in the hub, and for those that have gone out into the arms, there are young people that are working in physical labor on ships. There's none that are actually working on your ship.
Man, Dex is really trying with all that he is worth to make us feel bad for the people of the Nox, isn't he?
At this point, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. It's just a shitty situation.
And remember who it was that created that shitty situation?
It's a better situation than the last cycle.
Got a point.
That's like getting punched in the face and saying, "Be glad you didn't get kicked in the balls."
Yeah.
It's not the way I get punched in the face.
I just think they got all these guns next time someone tries to punch me in the face.
So yeah, Das is being treated with a fair amount of respect there for where she has expertise and where she, is the voice of expertise.
Yeah.
And it's not, perfectly smooth. You had to overcome a lot of obstacles in your way to making this trade deal work. And that's what the characters are currently navigating right now. There's a lot of there's a fair amount of pushback against the deal that you guys know you can reach with that additional information that came from Virgilia and went to the engineers. But all in all, it is actually a fairly fair deal. With what value they're actually going to get from this. Not that the other guy was underselling you. It's more that the other guy was undervaluing what the Nox actually gets from all this energy weaponry.
Yeah, Percy missed the details of the deal before. What was it again? Something about disassembling the weapons, right?
Yeah.
I'll let one of the characters explain it. Actually, we haven't had as much character RP this time.
Absolutely. That would be Das or Doug.
Sorry, describing how the weapons are broken down?
Describing where we got all the extra value from. Like, how do we convince them that this is so much more in their favor?
I don't know. Are they plotting revolution against Mercury Corps? Their law enforcement having issues? I mean, I don't know. It's just
right. But like, do you know why it is that the weapons are worth so much more to them taken apart than in one piece?
Wait, worth more taken apart than in one piece?
I think Meowkin might have that.
I might have missed an important part. Yes. Oh, because they're breaking them down for parts, weren't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Ginja, were you listening when Lulu explained his idea?
I remember that now.
Vaguely. Yeah.
Oh God. I'm starting to think this might have been a mistake.
Let's just call up Lulu and ask.
This is on you.
See what you've wrought on us.
I'll give you the
Yeah.
basics of it, Meowkin, and then you can translate that into Doug. Basically, the TL4 energy weapons have, they've got all very specific components that make them really good laser and plasma and all that weapons. Those components are also really good at specific individual uses in ship repair or in some of their equipment, mining lasers.
Yeah, like the capacitors.
Yeah.
Yes. It's something about the UIS capacitors in particular are easily repurposed.
Yeah. In fact, it might actually even be specific to UIS. That makes this make it even more sense.
Especially since they work on UIS ships, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How
serendipitous.
Yeah. So how does Doug translate this so that Percy can understand? Well, not
Percy
that
can
Percy's
understand.
dumb, but how does Doug translate this to...
Percy has a service supplied to you, thank you.
Because Percy is asking someone how this trade went from meh to amazing.
Oh. Well,
Like,
I guess we stopped worrying about taking them for all they're worth. Perhaps. I guess it would be something with Lulu, the Regilius thing is that realizing that the putting together like a certain component or certain components have surprising compatibility with the ship, the work that's going on that they do here on ships.
Okay, and they just didn't realize that they could. They just didn't realize that they could take the weapons apart for those, and now they do. Okay.
Yeah. We were just thinking of them as weapons initially. That's what we bought them as.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually pretty sharp.
I think we've didn't we end up like making basically the maximum possible profit on that trade deal?
Yes, you did.
We bought them at minimum price, didn't we?
Yep. Yep.
So hang on, what did we buy them for? 200k or something?
1,000 per ton, and you sold them for 30,000 per ton.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, so every credit we spent, we got paid 30. and we paid 200,000. Yeah.
The rich, simply put, get richer.
Yep.
Honestly, it wasn't even a big haul or like a long distance or anything either.
No, and it's not like you've been searching around for this kind of deal for forever.
Yeah.
It's literally you bought them last place you were at. You're selling them the next place.
Yeah, we're just like, well, we're here. We're gonna be spending some time here. We might as well. And then it's just, we might as well see what we can get for them here.
That's like 6 million credits.
We're just really good at trading. That's what it is.
We have been saying for a while that we're like.
I think we might just be lucky.
Yeah. We have been saying for a while, haven't we? That was like, incidentally, almost accidentally, a really good trade ship. Like, we can turn profit at speeds that nobody else can manage.
But presumably, that's probably really underutilizing the ship.
Yeah.
Is it? Is it though? Is it? Are you sure?
No, I guess I'm not really sure. I could probably be swayed.
Just at the 200k that we just turned down to 6 million.
Yeah.
Are you quite sure?
But I mean, that has relatively little to do with the ship itself.
Yeah, we could have done that in any ship.
Yeah, I mean, it would have taken us a little bit longer, but
not this fast.
Yeah.
A little bit longer. You forget we're going like 8 times the speed of everyone else.
All right. So with Percy satisfied with that explanation, and hang on. And with Benoit Carrel still outside your airlock, the three of you are ready to head back.
Why do I get the feeling this is going to escalate the moment Das appears?
You too?
I don't know how's it going there at the airlock with or the security checkpoint.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I'm going to assume banging on the airlock door or whatever.
No, he's taking a position, just leaning against it, and he's actually kind of being a dick. He's covering the window that looks outside.
That feels like an impediment of the security process. Literally kick him in the nuts and get him out of the way.
Well, there's a door in the way. If you want to kick him in the nuts, you have to open the door.
Ah, true.
And this is the door he wants to get through, so yeah.
Note to self: install leg on outside of door.
Just a mechanical leg so you can kick people through the door.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Just literally kick people out. Like no solicitors. Fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't mind. It's an occupational hazard of being a whatever he's doing. It's an occupational hazard of being a whatever he's doing. Fantastic.
Yes.
Why don't Percy, Doug, and Des all give me wisdom notice checks?
Oh dear.
Percy's rolling the 13s again. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to call it bad luck this time because that's the third 13 in a row.
Wow.
Okay, it's not in a row, but it's the third 13.
Yeah. If it makes you feel a bit better, I think I broke those up by rolling something different for. No, did Julia get? Julia got a 10.
Yeah, but that wasn't Percy.
Yeah, no, but like it was me. Is the thing.
What's more important, the player or the character?
So, Ginja, I'll let you think on why Das doesn't catch this, because you got just one below. Percy notices a very, very slight shift in attention and tensions of the Mercure Corps people who appear ever so diligently to just be doing their work. They're talking with people as you've seen them do before. They are counting out med kits and medical supplies as they were doing before. They're doing the same stuff that you've seen them doing here in the hub before, but there's a slight tension that you
No, I don't have more suspiciously.
recognize in your presence.
Yeah, basically they're acting like people that know us.
Myself, Orion, and the Kevins are just on the other side of this door here, right?
Yes, so let me find myself a space here. How's our... Yeah, I'll just use this gridless grid here. I'm gonna move everybody real quick. What was this anyways?
This was the
that was Allie.
Yeah, it's the Shinobins, yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna erase all of this because we don't need any of it.
Well, goodbye, Shinobins.
So.
Dex, you're basically doing the same thing that we did, erasing all these Shinobins off the map.
Yes, I am.
And now we're gonna just be erasing Mercure Corps off the map. Though
you feel like that too?
Yeah, but I don't really like the idea of gunfire on this station that's held together by spit and duct tape.
That's not true. There's also dreams in the spit and duct tape.
Yeah. Can't leave those out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an important part of the calculus that's keeping us placed together.
So this is your airlock with a off to the side decontamination room. The Raza does have a decontamination room in the major airlock. You are docked to the Nox via a regular umbilical.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got another airlock door here. And normally, this section over here would be straight out to the tube. But because you've got the Shinobin contract, you effectively have this additional office. And then it's the tube.
Okay.
And this is all outside of both your ship's gravity generators, grav plates, and the this all here is all whoops. This here is all of the like the work stuff of this arm, and the living space of this arm. The tube is outside of it, so that people can actually get through without walking through massive crowds. And a Benoit is right here. You guys are in the security office with this door being locked.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a little red X over where the door is so that we know it's locked.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Why do I get the feeling that red X is not going to last the duration of this scene?
That's your airlock. Move the lock
The other
up
one, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, up one.
There you go. There is a window in that door, so you can see out into the tube. Normally, if you do not have Benoit just leaning against it.
Why do I get the feeling that Percy, Doug, and Das are going to be on the way back, and we're going to run into Orion and the Kevin's just throwing this guy out?
Well, they've already thrown him out. He's waiting right now.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That happened while Percy, Doug, and Das were out doing their things.
I think if he doesn't stop blocking the window, it becomes a problem for us.
Do you want to do something about him blocking the window before Percy, Doug, and Das are on their way back?
How patient are you?
Yeah.
Something will be done about it when we return. Fear not.
Orion's not taking the initiative to do anything else because right now the guy's kind of under the Nox jurisdiction, and he doesn't.
Can we ring up the Nox?
You can ring up the Nox.
Yeah, emphasis on the dick part of jurisdiction.
I feel like this would be the part where we ring up the Nox because we have somebody trying to break onto the ship and otherwise blocking our security to get out.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Okay. You ring up the Nox. You get yourself over to Nox security, and basically tell them what you just said, that you've got somebody blocking your ability to enter and exit your ship. Is that what you want to transmit to Nox or relay?
Yeah, maybe. Would it even help us to add that he's impersonating members of our ship?
Well, it can't hurt, right?
Not in so many words.
That's another we're onto that, but not like it's too big a deal.
Yeah, he's blocking our stuff. We want him gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's blocking our stuff. He's trying to get in under false pretenses. We want him gone.
Yeah. The Nox security says that they'll send somebody over. That is a very reasonable request.
Son, do whatever you want.
Yeah, it does take him a little while to get there. But Das, Percy, and Doug are still out doing their thing at this point, I think. And when Nox security gets there, they are having a conversation with the guy. And you can hear through the door because it is just a normal door. This one. The security checkpoint. If this tube got depressurized, the security checkpoint would also. So you can hear the conversation, and it's similar to what you had. This guy's insisting that he's crew here. He doesn't know why he's being locked out. And the Nox security is doing their best to verbally convince him to verbally assert that it doesn't really matter whether he thinks he's part of this crew or not. He needs to move on. And he is not. So Nox security calls Nox security. And you can basically hear them calling in the situation, describing it, and asking for authorization to escalate.
It sounds menacing when you put it like that.
That's exactly what Benoit Carell thinks too. And he starts raising more of a fuss. What do you mean escalate?
Move on, and you don't need to find out, buddy.
You think the Raza be just leaning on the law?
Right? It's weird.
Might as well get some use out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about here, anyway, I suppose.
And they apparently get the authorization to escalate. Spray him with pepper spray, and stun rod him.
Huh, that's not as bad as I was expecting.
Well, I'm amused.
Imagine the law working in our favor.
Yeah, yeah.
What a concept, huh?
I like the way you said that second,
Yeah,
true. There's something about it, isn't there?
Also, there are all those other Mercury Core workers.
The window gets kind of misted up by the pepper spray. Fortunately, the other security is, of course, wearing a helmet. And you hear...
I'm gonna watch it and get killed.
Before you can see anything clearly, outside the door, what the fuck? And I think that's a good place to call it a session.
Oh no!
That is quite funny.
Oh
jeez.
Fucking Mercury Core. I can't even with them.
If you'd like a little bit more teaser, I can do one more thing.
Yes. Do it. Fuck us up. You know you want to.
Why isn't it showing? Did I do something wrong here? Oh, it's asking for me for a modifier. That's why.
Distressing.
Yeah,
that's a team X on stage 2.
A 1 and a 1. Well, we're not waiting at all then.
No, that's not the distressing.
This is fine.
That's not the distressing part. The distressing part is a T-Hana X31 stage 2. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. It's whatever just rolled in that one outside of the door.
Oh, jeez.
Well, 2 nat ones. Goddamn.
Yep.
Yeah. Good
Yeah, I'm
times.
guessing that didn't quite have the impact you were anticipating there.
Yeah.
Good times guaranteed.
Come
You
on,
know what?
Benoit. Way to ruin the mood, man.
He's trying. He's trying. He's just incompetent.
Yeah.
You know what? That's just the reflexive swipe of a quickly mutating monstrosity.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And of course, the Nox security backed up just enough because his reaction was appropriate to that. What the fuck?
You know that. I have a number of feelings about this. I actually forgot. I actually forgot what I was about to say mid sentence. Yeah. So, you know what this reminds me of? Can you remember what the last time was that someone someone who? Okay, it's not a thing, but someone was like very insistently asking us for something beyond all logic or reason, almost desperately. Anybody else remember anything like that?
When is the last time anybody's done a
vaguely
trail drill?
Sorry, what was that, Nox?
I said, when is the last time anybody's done a trail drill? any non-Percy person.
Right, Vicky did set up the trail drill.
In fairness, that was more as a therapy thing than anything.
It became so much more.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think it was when you came in and you were like, "What the fuck is this?" And also, it doesn't accurately simulate teleportation. Somebody else was involved as well. I can't remember who.
Are you thinking about the trail situation or a different one?
What, you mean the simulations that I've been running, or the actual scenario itself?
No, I think I've lost the thread of what you're trying to invoke.
Okay, so what I was trying to invoke was the last time that we saw someone asking for something desperately beyond all logic or reason was trail right before he hulked out.
Yes.
And you were like, when was the last time someone's done a trail drill? And that's when I started thinking about the simulations that Vicky programmed.
Oh, gotcha.
There was someone, like, Myokin was there, but there was someone else involved in that as well, I think. Somebody else that was checking it out. Might have been, yeah, might have been.
I was in, your little simulation thing, I remember.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, do you want to talk about this?
No, not really. No, I'm good. I mean, I'm really not, but, I'm really not, but I'm saying it in the way that says, please stop asking.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put up the end card here.
See if it tracks.